We have Tanjiro from Demon Slayer and Gabimaru from Hell's Paradise, but the real hero this season is Mashle. This guy is going head to head with wizards with no magic ability. Today I'm going to eat and train like Mashle from Magic and Muscles. This is something I'm not really looking forward to because the only thing he eats are cream puffs. And to figure out exactly how many cream puffs I need to eat in a single day to maintain whatever this is, I have to head upstairs and figure out all of those numbers. Now, according to my sources, Mashle is 5'7" and an average athletic weight of 160 pounds. That means today I have to eat 180 grams worth of protein, almost 400 grams of carbohydrates, and about 86 grams worth of fat. This brings my total expenditure to about 2,900 calories, rounding up to around 3,000. Biggest problem is this all has to come from cream puffs. CHEFPK. Let's get to the kitchen and start our meal prep. Now that we know exactly how much we have to eat, we have to prep like the bodybuilder that he is. Cream puffs all day, huh? Okay. I don't know about you guys, but I have never meal prepped cream puffs. But I'm assuming I'm not gonna feel very well during this entire experience. Making these cream puffs is actually relatively simple, and I'm using Preppy Kitchen's recipe. If you want to check out their recipe, the link is down below. Into a small sauce pot, I'm adding in 120 grams worth of unsalted butter, melting this down, and then adding 1 cup worth of water. To this, I'm adding a half a teaspoon worth of salt, 1.5 tablespoons worth of sugar, and a splash of vanilla. I'm melting this down just until that butter gets fully incorporated with everything else, and then I'm going to add 1 cup or 120 grams worth of all-purpose flour directly into this liquid. I'm constantly stirring the flour in so this way it doesn't clump up too much, and after cooking it for about an additional minute, this is when I'm going to put it into my stand mixer and mix it for around 2 minutes just to cool it down slightly so I can start adding in my whole eggs. I'm aiming for 3 whole eggs, but I kept a 4th one just in case I needed it. I ended up only adding in the 3 eggs to make my full dough, and once this dough was ready, it just needed to go into a pastry bag and then pipe directly onto a sheet tray with a silicone mat. I'm going to pop this into the oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for around 10 minutes, and then after that 10 minutes, drop it to 350 degrees Fahrenheit for around 30 minutes to finish cooking. While the cream puffs are cooking, I'm going to be making my filling. For this custard, I need 1 cup worth of milk, 1 cup worth of heavy cream, a splash of vanilla, and this thing goes onto the stove to get warm. This filling is actually going to be for both a chocolate and a vanilla custard. Into another large bowl, I'm adding in around 100 grams worth of sugar, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and 1 tablespoon worth of flour. To this, I'm doing 4 egg yolks plus 2 whole eggs. I like adding in the 2 whole eggs because I feel like it gives it a fluffier texture. Mix this really well, and then grab that hot liquid. Now, I am tempering this with the tiniest amount possible. I'm even using my tiny ladle. The reason is because I'm always worried about scrambling my eggs. After adding in around half of the milk with the tiny ladle, this is when I can add in the rest of that milk to get it nice and warm. Now I'm taking half of that mixture, putting it back into the pot, and with the other half of the mixture, I'm adding in around 2 big tablespoons worth of cocoa powder. I'm mixing this up, and this is going to be for my chocolate custard. Now the vanilla custard needs to be cooked down so it can actually thicken. After a couple of minutes, the custard should thicken up really nicely. Once it has this really nice thick texture and consistency, this is when we can actually cool it down, and this can be ready to go later, but this has to be totally cold before we use it. After the vanilla custard, we do the same exact thing with the chocolate custard. If you're making a vanilla and a chocolate one, make sure you do the vanilla first and then the chocolate one after, so this way you don't have to clean out your pot. The chocolate one will thicken up very quickly because there is additional starch in that cocoa powder. Get this thing cooled down so this way we have our fillings ready. One last filling I'm doing is a strawberry filling. Yes, because they do have a strawberry filling in one of them. This is around 2 cups worth of chopped strawberries, followed by about a half a cup worth of sugar. I'm cooking this down for about 20 or 30 minutes until it gets nice and juicy. This is when you would actually add a cornstarch slurry, but since I ran out of cornstarch, I'm actually just going to remove some of the strawberries and then thicken up the sauce like that. Once again, I have to make sure that the strawberries are completely cold to make sure I can fill them later. Now I promise, the very last thing I have to do is make some whipped cream. This is just some traditional whipped cream, and I am using 1 cup worth of heavy cream and around 1 cup worth of powdered sugar. After spinning this and getting it nice and thick, my whipped cream is ready. The reason I made whipped cream is so this way I can get my fillings nice and fluffy because these are thick. I'm removing the custard, placing it into a bowl, and then adding in half of my whipped cream that I had made into each of those custards. This lightens it up and it makes it really nice to fill with later. And by now, our pastries are completely cold and ready to cut. These have to be completely cold, just like everything else. Cutting these in half reveals the beautiful center. These things are nice and fluffy and light and primarily hollow. After cutting everything up, this is when I'm going to stuff a bag full of my custard. I'm starting off with my vanilla, but leaving some of that vanilla custard behind so I can use some of it for the strawberry. Strawberries and cream, you can't go wrong with that. After the strawberries and cream, it's super simple to fill the rest of them. 3 of them are going to be filled with the vanilla custard and 3 will be filled with the chocolate custard. Now, we have all of our cream puffs for the entire day ready. Now begins the descent into madness. Now I have myself a nice hot cup of black coffee to go along with these. I'm going to dig in to the vanilla cream one first. Cheers. No. Huh? That was really good, but my God, it's a little sweet. In theory, the sugar and the fats should help me work out, but there's almost no protein. That's good. I have to eat 2 more of those today. Vanilla one, delicious. Let's go with chocolate. We're gonna do strawberry last. How does he eat these so perfectly? Oh, the chocolate is so good. It's just like a luxurious, velvety, creamy, rich chocolate custard. You know, I'm 36 years old. This is not what I should be eating all day. Okay, strawberry with a little bit of the cream. The strawberry one, that strawberry and cream feeling, that's really good, especially during the summertime right now. I like this one the most. I'm genuinely surprised. I can't even talk because I'm gonna have sugar shock from all this. I now have to do a complete weight training session after all of those cream puffs. So I'm starting off slow by making sure I'm loosey-goosey and then really focusing on some body movements. I first started off by doing these weighted lunges with some 70-pound dumbbells. And once I did that, I focused on the back because that's the first thing people see when you walk away from them. After getting my back nice and worked, this is when I had to hit my hamstrings because we all know how fast MASH really is. And then I finished off with some chest work because every day is chest day. And finally, I did this exercise that MASH did in the opening scene where he's running while curling. I don't think you should do this. I didn't really find this very effective, but I'm also not MASH. Now there was a vacuum going on in the background, so I'm just gonna dub over myself, but these are my numbers for the previous week and cream puff week, and according to my numbers, I actually did better on cream puff week, which may or may not be a good thing according to what I've eaten today. Now the real kicker is I have a second workout after this, but first I need to head back to the house and have my second set of cream puffs, and I'm probably gonna vomit. Just got back from the gym, and now it is time for the post-workout meal, which I have never had a post-workout meal like this before. I'm also gonna pair these 3 cream puffs with a bit of milk. I gotta have something to wash this down with. Now what's really interesting is that if I look over at my chart over here, all of my lifts stayed the same. If not, some of the sets felt really, really good. This could have absolutely had everything to do with the amount of sugar, carbs, and fat that was in here. The one thing that I think is going to hurt is the protein because there isn't a lot in here. So I wonder how tomorrow's recovery is going to feel. Cheers, we got another workout after this. Now let's go see if I can hold all of this down. And with the power of cream puffs, I vow to be like Mashle. We're gonna do one 100-yard dash for every single cream puff we've eaten and are going to eat. So 9 of these things. I'm gonna vomit. I'm gonna throw up. Yep, that's what's gonna happen. Listen, I'm not big on sprints and or running, so I probably look like a duck doing this, but I was able to get the first one out of the way. Oh yeah, that doesn't feel good at all. Oh God. After each sprint, I had to jog back to the starting line and start the process all over again. Now, here's another thing that I'm trying to do. The average 36-year-old, which is my age, can do a 100-meter dash in about 20 seconds. I want to try to break that time. What I'm actually trying to tell you right here is that I actually hit 18.5 seconds on that sprint, but I still had 4 more to go, and I really wanted to break this time. I wanted to try to get under 18 seconds. I even had the local teachers at part of this school cheering me on. Be nice to your teachers, kids, because you never know when one of them will let them eat your hair. And finally, on the 9th sprint, I pushed everything. I yelled power just like Medio would and made it to the finish line. So on the last sprint, I actually hit 17.3 seconds. That was the fastest time I'd had today, even though it was the last one. The only reason why I'm stopping, and I did do 9, is because I'm cramping up pretty badly. Now, this could have to do with these 6 cream puffs that I've had for food today, plus 1 glass of milk and a bunch of water. This means a couple of things. I'm not ready to sprint like that, or I'm lacking some serious hydration and salt and minerals, which kind of checks out when you're eating nothing but sugar and fats all day. We'll see how we feel after this. I'm gonna take a breather. And while I rest here under the tree for a minute, I have to confess something to you guys that I'm really excited about, and that is that I have joined Nebula. One of my favorite creators, Wendover Productions, has a Nebula original where he deep dives into the economics of ski resorts. I know this sounds really strange, but I am someone who loves to go snowboarding at every chance that I get, and watching this video based on something like the ski resorts and the hospitality based around it made me really excited to see. And it's only available on Nebula. But it's not just Wendover. So many of my favorite creators and friends are over on Nebula making incredibly high quality content. That's why when they asked me to join, I was incredibly stoked to be a part of this. For those of you who don't know, Nebula is a place where you can watch content ad-free. If you want to watch my 47-minute video on the bleach diet, you can watch that right now over on Nebula ad-free. Nebula allows creators like me to not be held back by any algorithm. I have a video coming up that I'm really excited about where I'm going to be exploring Japantown, Seattle, and see if we can find any really exciting anime food there. It's going to give you a taste of what's to come for when I do my full tour in Japan, and that's going to be on Nebula first. From ad-free content to classes, Nebula is the place to be, and you can get it all for less than $3 a month by using my link down below. So head to my link, sign up, I'll see you over at Nebula, and now I have a really big decision to make. And that decision was to have some actual food, just like MASH does at the end of every single episode. For that, I'm having one of my favorite recipes, Goku Black Noodles. This recipe is actually out of my cookbook, Bites, which you can still pre-order at the link down below. This is a recipe that I came up with when I was trying the Goku diet, and it has quickly become one of my favorite things to make from this book. I'm starting off by cooking my soba noodles in my large pan with water. After a couple of minutes, my noodles are ready to go. I'm gonna take this entire pan and just drain the liquid out. With most of my liquid drained, this is when you can just get creative. I'm throwing in some extra cabbage because I don't have green onions like it says in the book, followed by about 8 ounces of chicken. In the book, we do use beef, but you could use either one. Next is gonna be 1 whole shallot that I just thinly sliced. I'm gonna add maybe like a half a tablespoon worth of oil. And then for all of our liquid, this is just about 2 tablespoons worth of mirin, 1 tablespoon worth of rice vinegar, 2 tablespoons worth of black vinegar, and then about 1 to 1.5 tablespoons worth of soy sauce. After about a minute, I'm actually going to also add this 1 leftover egg from those cream puffs we had made. Remember, we didn't add all of them, so just gonna throw that in there too. It took no time, maybe 6 minutes total. I like to top mine with some sesame seed. You can throw some grated garlic on there, some ginger. You can do really whatever you want. There's a quick and easy high protein meal. This has about 70, maybe 65 to 70 grams worth of protein. I'll throw everything up right over here so you guys can see. Along with all those cream puffs we had today, plus that glass of milk. I will admit, all of the training actually felt really, really good today. Can't believe I got down to 17.3 seconds on my 100-meter dash. I've never done that before. And now I'm actually excited to like add it through my week and see if I can just do that whole set once a week. If you want to pre-order my cookbook, the link is down below. You only have a limited time to pre-order it before we send these to print. You can pick this up with an exclusive headband, and you're going to be supporting local culinary students. 10% of all sales go directly to them through a scholarship. I'm CHEFPK, and remember, keep playing with your food. You gotta have dessert.
Good morning. It's currently 6:45 in the morning, and I feel like I got hit by a truck. That was awesome. I slept so well, even after all of that stuff that we did yesterday. Keep playing with your food. I need coffee. I need to get some coffee.